Hi, my name's Adam. So what is iGreen? iGreen is an integrated unit for Year 9s. It integrates maths, science, SOS and English, and it looks at green technology as a focus. We look at, in maths, the main assessment task is developing a floor plan for a house. For science, we look at the science behind green technology, so things like solar energy and so forth. For English, the students get to develop a website which sells the house that they've designed in maths and come up with a real estate company, so they do their logos and those sorts of things. And from a SOS point of view, we look at the ethical decisions behind green technology. So in regards to, if you were to build a house, would you buy a gas hot water system or a solar hot water system? So looking at things like how much it costs, long term, and in terms of the environment, those sorts of things. The reason why it was developed was Henley High School was part of the Advanced Technology Project, which is a DEX initiative to look at trying to increase skilled workers in things like engineering and apprenticeships to help the defence industry here in South Australia, which has a lot of jobs that are going to become available over the next few years. So with science and maths as a target, we needed to look at new ways and new strategies of teaching maths and science, and integration was the way we've done it. So this was just a small part of that project, and starting off with a small unit, trying to build it together and give students a different learning opportunity, and really trying to look at more project-based type of work. Was there any difficulties putting the unit together? Initially it took myself and another teacher, Jen Hostella, who teaches English and SOS, and I teach maths and science. It took quite a while to put the idea together and really try and combine English, maths, science and SOS. So obviously looking at 4 different learning areas, that was one of the most difficult things. If we just looked at in particular maths and science, then it's obviously much easier, but once you start to get into more subjects, it becomes a lot more difficult. After the first year, we actually surveyed the kids, and quite often throughout the 4 weeks that we did the unit, we kind of were starting to jot down ways we could improve the unit for the following year, in terms of its structure, some of the assessment tasks and the way we delivered it. So we surveyed the kids at the end of the year and got some very valuable feedback, and then sat down for quite a long time afterwards in trying to improve and modify the initial unit that we developed, and that's where I suppose most of the time came in. So I suppose where the difficulties lay from the first time we did it was more so trying to restructure, trying to think of assessment tasks that would suit what we were trying to achieve out of it, and trying to find that link across 4 different learning areas. The other thing was we wanted to try and, I suppose, sell it to other staff to get more classes on board. So in 2010 we only had the 2 classes that we trialled it with, and then this year, 2011, we had 8 classes that did it at Year 9 level. So that was also one of the difficulties that we identified, was trying to sell it to other staff, and we found that the best way of doing that was coming up with a folder that has all the documents, all the resources, all the assessment tasks, a teaching program, a unit plan, which has the differentiated assessment tasks within it, ready to go, so we could hand it to a teacher so they could pretty much follow a program. All they had to do is just deliver the program. So they found that very valuable, and we surveyed the kids again at the end of this year and found that in quite a few areas all the kids, some of the key areas the kids definitely found there was improvement in the unit, so which is good. Was it successful? We think it's successful, so it's a bit of a different learning opportunity. There's definitely more opportunities to develop it in terms of looking more so inquiry-based learning, and that sort of a different style of learning, so more innovative ways of actually teaching it. So I think though, because we've tried to, I suppose, hit a home run straight off the bat with 4 different learning areas and trying to integrate 4 different learning areas, that's always going to be very difficult. So if we were just targeting just, for example, maths and science, it'd be much easier to be able to try and explore those possibilities. And that, I suppose, that are the future plans with the iGreen unit, is to make it a bit more innovative, try maybe a few different ways of assessing the kids, ways they can present their work, giving students more freedom, start to get them to question things and pretty much run the sessions themselves in some respects. In terms of next year, we've got the Australian curriculum coming in, the ACARA coming in, so that's something that we're going to have to map the key outcomes for the unit against the new curriculum, and also starting to develop a process for career development with the students, as that's going to be one of the focus with the Advanced Technology project in the future. So really starting to look at what jobs could come from these sorts of skills and these sorts of topics that the students are looking at, and trying to incorporate that across all 4 learning areas. Any other points of note? Not really. It is enjoyable teaching it. The students, as I said, after surveying the kids from this year, there was definitely some key areas where there were improvements. One of the really successful points was the fact that the teachers seemed to take it on board pretty well and were happy to deliver it. And a lot of the students really found a lot of enjoyment, especially in the task, for the maths task, in designing a floor plan for a house, and they saw that as an opportunity to kind of be creative, which they don't really get enough opportunities in maths, especially, to be creative and show the creative side. So that's iGreen in a nutshell.